I got 5 things in here, so you can pick one out. Anyone else want to come up? All right. All right, come on up. Awesome. You want a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? You're not allergic to peanuts, are you? All right. Come on up, guys. Have a seat. You can grab a piece of candy. All right, clean me out. Just enough. Okay, excellent. Well, I want you guys to think back to the oldest person in your family. You don't have to point to them, right? The oldest, as far back, they don't even have to be alive. They can be passed away. Think back to the oldest person in your family, Peter. What would be the oldest person that you can think of? Great aunt or great-great-great-grandfather so-and-so. Someone maybe you've only maybe even heard of. Who would that be? The mind is young, but the memory's not good, I guess, huh? All right, it goes back pretty far. I'm going to tell you a true story about my grandfather. So that means that I'm kind of, do you guys think I'm old? I probably look old. Yeah, I probably look pretty old. I'm kind of middle old, right? Well, so my mom's older than me because she's my mom, right? And then her father, right, which means it's my grandfather, which means it's my kid's great-grandfather, he was in the Merchant Marines during World War II. And he was in Italy. And Italy was taken over by the Allies, as they were bad for a while, right? And there were some bad people, and there was a boat, and it was carrying bombs for airplanes. And these bad people took a tarp, caught it on fire, and threw it into the hold of the boat. And my grandfather said, I need someone to come with me, and he ran into the hold to extinguish the fire. What would have happened if he would have blown up? Because it was very possible that he could have died. Now, fortunately, my grandfather didn't die, because I obviously wouldn't be here if he did. But what would have happened, do you think, in my family if my grandfather would have died? Would I be here? No. No, I wouldn't be. Technically, I wouldn't be here. So that means my other family wouldn't be here, right? All my kids, I wouldn't be here. And then my mom wouldn't be here. And that would have affected everything. That one little event, if it would have changed just a wee little bit, right, everything would have been different. Now, did you know that I'm married to a really pretty woman out here? Where is she? There she is, right there, right? She's back there. She's the most pretty woman if you're wondering who it is, it's the prettiest woman in the church. All right. So, we're married, right? And we decided that we were going to take a whole year off after we got married and just enjoy being married, and I was going to work a job. And then I started reading the Bible and praying about, should I do that or not? And I felt like God said, go to seminary now. And I thought, wow, okay, I better go to seminary. And if I didn't go to seminary when I did, I probably wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't have served the church I served last when I did, and I wouldn't have served the other church I served then when I did, and I wouldn't have served the church in Minnesota that I did, and all of my life would have been really, really different, right? Are you kind of getting what I'm talking about? If one little difference would have affected just everything dramatically, right? Whether it's my grandfather or someone way, way further back, even older than him, or something that I did, how do you think God has all of it figured out? How can God keep it all squared away, do you think? How can God do that? What do you think? How is it possible that God knows exactly what we're each going to do, and he controls everything that we're going to do, and even though we have the ability to make some free will choices of our own, right? God has it all figured out, and he knows exactly how it's going to happen. So even though this guy here, he works for the post office, right? What do you think would have happened if he didn't work for the post office? His whole life would be dramatically different, right? And all the people that he's talked to when he worked in a post office, he wouldn't have been able to talk to, right? So it's hard to imagine that all of these things could be different. Now, I'm going to be preaching about a really big word called sovereignty. You guys have no idea what that means, do you? It means this: God is in control. Now, when you guys get older, you're going to be faced with choices. Should I date that young man that wants to date me? Well, you better ask your mom and your dad, because, that's a sticky subject, right? Because I won't even get into that, right? It's hard for us dads to allow our beautiful young girls to date someone. And then sometimes they say, well, I want to get married. Oh, that's a big one. Or I need to leave Astoria and go to a completely different place in the world, right? That would be crazy, right? That you're going to have a lot of choices in your life. But what I want you to know is this, is that God is in control. And the best thing for us to do whenever we have a choice in our life is to ask God, God, what do you want me to do? And then when we think we have the idea what God wants us to do, just do it and step out in faith and know that no matter what happens to us, whether it's good or whether it's bad, God is in control. And I'm going to be preaching a lot more about that, okay? Well, thanks a lot, guys. You can all have a seat.